All right, there's going to be a lot of Halloween candy in our homes tonight. Registered dietitian Andrea Holwegner joining us this morning to help us navigate, help the parents navigate what is a spooky night, but also a fun night for the kids.
Of course.
With so much candy coming into the household.
And you know, I'm the chocolate-loving dietitian. This is my brand, so this is a joyous day of the year.
Okay.
Of course, there's a lot of chocolate involved in our household.
Yeah.
Not as much for the candy as chocolate.
Yeah. So what's your approach to Halloween? The kid comes through the door. We've got a pillowcase full of candy. What's kind of the first step?
What should we do? First of all, let's just sit down on the floor and celebrate the stash with kids. Don't be a fun sucker. Today is about just like having some fun with the kids. Ask them to share with you, because what we're trying to do as parents and caregivers is role model what balanced living looks like. We eat for a variety of reasons. Of course, one is to get good nutrition in, but we eat for taste and enjoyment and culture and social fun. Emotions, all of those things. And so we need to just role model having some fun and not being like the boring person that never eats the celebratory treats.
Now, do you have any thoughts towards the days following Halloween, where you have all that leftover candy and how the kid, like some people talk about managing the stash, I suppose, or you know, having little bits of candy here and there in the days following. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and like whether it's the night of and the day after, I always am a big fan of like, let's get kids to see how they manage the stash without us even interfering. A lot of kids self-regulate themselves just fine. And yes, there's going to be more than probably some parents are happy about. Whatever, this is just part of being a kid. They were there once too. So if you notice your kid is literally like scarfing down like half a dozen at a time, then you might say, okay, grab one more, and like there's going to be an opportunity to have some more tomorrow night, because we of course want them to sleep with all of that chocolate going through their system.
They'll probably learn a lesson if they're the ones scarfing down all that candy. Let's talk about just junk food and candy in general, and sort of how parents can approach that with their kids. Because, you know, a lot of folks, you know, parents want their kids to be eating healthy and get all the nutrition that they need. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so first of all food is good food. So we're not a big fan of labeling things as either good or bad, or a healthy choice or an unhealthy choice. Food is just food. In fact, sometimes really the only time you should feel really bad about it is maybe if you stole the food. And maybe there's even exceptions with that as well. So food is just food. So if we think about, you know, our kids eating too much sugar overall on Halloween, who knows? Probably we don't have data on this. But when we think about like our kids eating too much sugar overall, and the answer is maybe just a little higher than we'd like. So rather than focusing on thinking about like reducing sugar on Halloween, it's what you're doing between Halloween and the next Halloween that would be a more relevant thing to really focus on. So we know kids are getting, you know, anywhere between 12, 13% of what we call free sugar, which is that added sugar plus things like honeys and extra sort of fruit juice types of sugar. And what we're after is getting that to like somewhere around the 10% or less. So they're just a little higher than we'd like. And so again, role modeling and parenting and really making sure we're filling up on that grow food first, and then still, of course, saving some room for treats is.
And one night of the year, let the kids.
Let it go. Sit down and have some chocolate with them, and let's call it a day.
Hey, I'm on board with that. That's for sure. My baby is 5 months old, so I'm going to be having all of her Halloween candy. But that's some really great information, Andrea. Thanks for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having me.
Happy Halloween. All right, we are going to take a break. That's registered dietitian Andrea Holwegner. Lots more Halloween content coming up for you on Global News Morning. We're back after this.